Good morning, Ariane. How are you doing? I'm glad you jumped on early on this live, an impromptu live, because I think what I have to say is pertinent to everyone. All right? Thank you so much, Sharon Smart, for logging in. DJ Charlie Frost, Next Generation, holding the flag, flying the flag for the Brits. I love it, Charlie. DJ Charlie. If you have children, then you need to listen to this live. If you have grandchildren, you need to log in and listen to this live. And please share what I'm about to say. It's coming from my heart and also my own very personal experience. Right now, I'm playing Kwesi Paul with his pan cover of Thinking Out Loud. So this live video is Bonafire, Thinking Out Loud. I'm going to jump into the meat of the conversation because I don't want to wait, but do share the video. Let's listen to a little bit more from Kwesi Paul, steel pan version of Thinking Out Loud. Nice, isn't it? Bless up to you. Good morning, Amy. How are you doing? What I'm about to talk about on the live today is something that affects all of us, especially if you have young children in your life, whether grandchildren, nieces and nephews. So please share the video, and I want you to be interactive and comment on the post. I'm going to open up another page so that I can actually see your comments in real time. So I'm going to, I think, just jump straight into the post. Bear with me while I get my Facebook page up and running, and then we can get the show on the road. Good morning, Paulie. How are you doing? Thank you so much for logging in, and this is relevant to you. I'm going to jump straight into my commentary. You're listening to Pan Cover, Thinking Out Loud by Kwesi Paul. I just love this instrumental, but I'm going to really bring it down low while I get into the chat. Good morning to you, Marlene. How are you doing? Okay, the chat this morning is, if you notice, it's Bonafire. So I'm going to be burning a fire on some people. Okay, today is September the 16th, Wednesday, September the 16th. And for those who have children in grade school, you would know that in New York City, the parents who have opted for their children to go back to school virtually, which is what most of the children were doing for the summer. So those parents who have concerns about their young ones going to a physical building have opted out for the children to start school virtually. This is my personal experience, and I want you to all chime in and tell me, what's your experience? How has it been for your children going back to school if you decided to send them back virtually? Okay, school actually starts proper next Monday for the kids to come into school. But you know what? My granddaughter, I decided, was not going to be anybody's guinea pig, and so I'm not sending her into a physical building because in New York City, I don't feel confident that the schools are adequately ventilated, number one, because we know a lot of these schools are older buildings and the ventilation systems are not that good. So we know that COVID-19 is airborne. So that's one of my issues. The other issue is I don't know that schools are being properly cleaned. Yes, I know your gran would be home, Paulie. Mine is home too. But there are a couple of things that I'm really not comfortable with. I'm a supporter of Mayor de Blasio, but right now I'm very concerned because it seems to me as though the mayor and the chancellor are throwing things to see what will stick. Good morning to you, Sharon Smart. We're talking about the children returning to school, whether it's in the virtual space or physically in the building. For me, my granddaughter is at home. So, yesterday, I was trying to activate the Department of Education iPad. I've been trying to activate it for a while. And we already had issues with the DOE iPad from in the summer when it took 4 weeks for a technician to help me with a problem activating her iPad. It's a good thing we have other computers, laptops, desktops. Good morning, Jeffrey Philp. How are you? We're talking about kids returning to school. So I've had an ongoing issue with activating the iPad. What they did after school was over, I think they deactivated all of these iPads. So if you were a parent that is just doing 1,000,001 things, you may not have realized that you should have been starting to activate the iPad. They sent out a link that you had to Zscaler or something that you had to go onto. Well, I'm pretty tech savvy. I'm not brilliant, but I know my way around a computer. And it took me a while to figure out what it was I had to do because the iPad is not working. It keeps saying that there's no internet service. Now, we know that when these iPads were issued, they were also issued with internet, right? Because part of the issue is that a lot of parents do not have access to internet. So good for the Board of Ed on that one. They issued the iPads and it came loaded. Well, you had access to internet, so you didn't have to have your own personal internet. Anyway, cut a long story short, I was on the phone for 1 hour. The timer on the phone tells you how long you're on the phone. 1 hour waiting to speak to a DOE technician. I explained the problem. That person couldn't help me. They gave me a ticket. Now, I already know the last time I went through this, it took me 4 weeks to get the issue resolved. Anyway, online schooling starts today. She needs her iPad. Well, luckily, we have other methods that we can use to log on. And there were several issues. But before talking about the online experience, I happened to reach out to the school for help. Now, I thought that online schooling was supposed to start on the 16th. Yes, not realizing the 16th is today, and in-person school starts on Monday, if it's the 24th or whatever day that is. I never got a notification from the school that school is starting on the 16th. These are the requirements. This is how you log into the school. I'm not going to give the name of the school, but I live in the Bronx. And this particular school is quite close to where I live. So that's the first issue I have. Had I not had occasion to call the school, I wouldn't have had a clue whether or not it's my fault. I should have written down online schooling starts. Be that as it may, but there were no instructions as to how I was to join the classroom or what I was supposed to do. Bless up to you, Sandra Carter. We're talking about the situation in New York City with our young children returning to school, whether it's online or whether it's going to be in person. There are issues for both. And it seems to me, okay, Paulie, so Sam said she got the email at 7 p.m. Guess what? I'm still waiting for the email. I didn't know the name of my child's teacher, right? The day before online school is supposed to start, I don't know the name of the teacher. When I actually called the school and asked them, well, what's going on? I was told, emails are being sent out 2 days before school starts. Well, I'm still waiting for my email. However, the parent coordinator that I spoke to is a very helpful person, but you could tell she was overwhelmed. Now, I happen to know her, have a good relationship with her. She was able, after about 5-10 minutes, to look up and tell me the name of my grandchild's teacher. And she gave me that person's email. I immediately reached out to them and I said, what are the requirements for online learning in terms of school supplies? None of that information was passed. Right? So I'm making this post under my bona fide hat. See, I have on my bona fide hat because I'm burning a fire on New York City, and I'm sure I'm not the only parent that is going through this. So the fact that they're not advising parents what the procedure is, where do they have to go? It was yesterday when I reached out to the teacher who I'd never been introduced to, never knew who it was going to be, didn't even know if my child was promoted. You understand what I'm saying? We are taxpayers, and I'm not happy with the service that I'm getting for the money that I'm spending. As a homeowner, a lot of my taxes on my home goes to the school. And I want to know, why is it that New York City has the most segregated school system in America? Why? In 2020, why is that so? And if nobody else is talking about it, I'm going to be talking about it today, because guess what? I'm really sick and tired of it. Why should our children with a certain zip code get subpar education? And yet everybody's talking about, oh, you know, we want parity in the schools. I want the same education that those children in Connecticut, in certain neighbors in Connecticut and Westchester County are getting. Because as far as I'm concerned, my taxpayer dollars are as green as anybody else's. And if we don't sound the alarm as to what's happening, our children are going to fail. They are already failing. This year, 2020, is going to be the biggest social passing. Remember, there was this big hoopla. Yes, let me look at your comments, because I see people are commenting, and that's wonderful, because that's what I want. I see that 2020 is going to be the year when those children, especially in grade school, are going to be socially promoted. Because this whole online experience during the summer months of the pandemic, it was not a good experience. It was not a good experience. It was frustrating. And as I said, I know my way around a computer. And I had to be jumping through hoops to make sure work was done, make sure it was uploaded. It was a fiasco. And you would have thought that the Board of Ed, the Chancellor, knew about these issues, but it seems like every day they're coming online and trying to bamboozle parents that everything is fine, when we already know that it's not fine. From the mere fact that, I don't know if the numbers have changed, but even before school reopened, 16 educators were diagnosed with COVID-19. Just by being in the school building. The fact that the mayor and the governor are reopening restaurants, but they're saying that restaurants can only have 50% capacity. But they're telling parents that it's safe for children to come to school. I've always said, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old is not going to physically be able to wear a mask for 7 hours every day. Now they've come up with the idea of blended education. So it's going to be part online and part in person, unless you opted out to have online classes, which is what I did. You can only change your mind in the next semester, which is November. So we're stuck with online classes. Right now, I think there are 7 children in her grade who are doing the online classes, and I'm happy with that, because her class consists of 28 students. I think it would just be not feasible to have 28 students doing a class online. So I'm not sure what's happened to the other students, if they're going in person to school, but I know who's not going in person. So let me just have a look at the comments and see what people are saying. Let me catch up with all of you. But I'm just really I'm very perturbed about what is happening in New York City in terms of our children, and the fact that it seems as though they are being used as guinea pigs. Because one minute we're hearing that, children can get it, but it's not as serious when they get it. But at the end of the day, it's not about the children and the severity of their reaction to COVID. It's about them then having interaction with those people who have underlying issues like myself. And that's why I'm like, no, I'm not sending my granddaughter to school right now. And I really want sensible commentary coming from government. I want to see what my taxpayer dollars are doing. I want to ensure that my grandchild is getting education that's on par with someone who lives in a different zip code, because that is our duty and that is our right as citizens. And I don't hear anybody else speaking up about it. We started online classes today. It was a bit challenging to get online, but as I said, I'm able to work around things, and it was nice. And I raised the question of the iPads not working, and you best believe there were, I think of the 8 parents that were there, I think there were 5 of them who had the same issue. So the mathematicians and the statisticians in the chat room can figure it out. Multiply that by however many. I think there are 1 million or 4 million children in New York City in the public school system. So what does that tell you? I see Paulette Bow is in the chat room, and I know she's very... Sorry, I need to drink something. I know she's very into Faye Grant. I want to say bless up to you. Maxine Greaves, bless up to you. I'm having a rant this morning about our children going back to school and the implications of that, and how it seems that things are not ready for them to go back to school. They've been given iPads that have been decommissioned, and there's an issue with having them getting back online, but online schooling has started this week. Not for education, but at least to start preparing the children, because remember, they've been out of school, so to speak, since March. Anyway, along those lines, let me just play a little bit of this for you while I get myself something to drink. I'll be right back. Stick and stay. We're talking about school and the return to school, and how I feel that the education of our children is really in jeopardy. What do you think? Yes, you know, Sheron P likes to play all kind of music. Listen to this. It's a little snippet. Yes, that is, yes, you know, the crazy girl loves all kind of music. That is, oh my gosh, Alice Walker, and school's out for summer. But it's possible that school may be out for the foreseeable future, because I'm not sure how many people realize what's going on with their children and education. I understand that parents need to go back to work, but what's happening with our children in schools in terms of online and also in-person tuition, it's not working. It's not working. Parents have to be assured that when they're sending their children to school, they're in a safe environment. And this argument that, you know, you've got nurses and you've got school teams who are checking to see if a child displays symptoms or if a teacher displays symptoms, they're going to be put in isolation. By that time, if someone is displaying symptoms, it's already too late. That person has been infectious for we don't know how many days. But when you're showing symptoms, the person has already infected other people. So don't tell me that when someone's showing symptoms, you're then going to put a Band-Aid on it. And then you're talking about contact tracing. I don't hear anything about contact tracing, and it's not working. Because if it was working, the numbers would be down. They're down in New York. But let me tell you something. I'm driving around the city at night, and I see the ambulances. And I'll leave that one right there. I want to go back to this song that I played for you. It's not anything to do with school, but I just love the track. It's a cover version of a very famous song, and it's done by a gentleman by the name of Kwesi Paul. Take a listen to this. I'm going to get myself something to drink. I'll be right back. I'll be right back, people. Told you I wouldn't be long. Yes, Michelle Arthurton says that I should tag the governor and the mayor. You know what? I'll leave you to do that. I want to say bless up to Jeffrey Phil, because I know also he is a pedagogue. He's a teacher. He's an instructor. So I want to hear from him. Are the schools in Florida open? And also, let me also say, Jeffrey, I hope that you're safe. We're seeing the weather conditions in terms of the hurricane that's going on right now, and you know what, our thoughts are with you. If you happen to be in that area, we hope that you're not, but to those people who are in that area, our thoughts are going out to you, because it's like, what else can happen? What else can go wrong? It seems like we really are under a lot of pressure in the US, whether it's from COVID or whether it's from natural disaster. And also we're talking about the people in California and the wildfires that are raging, not just in California, but in other areas. I should know this, but you know what? I'm so stuck and hung up on what's happening with our schools and what our leadership is telling us. Let me say good morning to Michelle Anderson, who's logged in. No one has any commentary. Actually, there is a comment from someone. I want to see if I can find it. It's from Judith Rahili. So let me see if I can find her comment. Bear with me a second. I'm not sure what I did here. Oh dear. What did I do? I've lost my comments on my my live feed. But I will find it, Judith, and I will mention what you said, because I think your comment was quite pertinent. Let me see if I can get my... Okay, here we go. Judith Rahili says, that's exactly it. No sensible government. The messages are contradictory. And she says, I've made the right choice. It is a pain, and the children lose when they miss learning live with their peers. That's so true, Judith. Because, you know what, my granddaughter is feeling it, and she was very excited to be in the class online, even though it was just like introductory class today. School will start properly online on Monday, as will the children who are physically going into school. But that wasn't an option for me. And I see Paul Lee Collins was making the same comment, that her granddaughter is at home. Anyway, you know what? I think I've said what I have to say. I haven't really got this off my chest because it's an ongoing situation. And I'm hoping that my commentary will spark other people to say, you know what? This is not right. We need to reach out to our elected officials and ask them, seriously, what is it you're doing? And we want information that is credible. Yes, kids with autism. Someone has, yes, Michelle Arthurton has said, kids with autism, they need to socialize too, or else all hell will break loose. And I was actually on a live with the mayor, and I was just so angry about what they were saying, and it wasn't true. And you know what, as parents, as voters, as citizens, we need to push back. We need to push back. I'm not talking about demonstrating. I'm talking about effective pushback. And that means reaching out to our elected officials and saying to them, you know, this is not right. Elections are coming up. So when we have an issue, now is the time to reach out to our politicians, because guess what? They need us come November 3rd. They need us, and they will listen to us now. So use your leverage, which is your vote. Okay? And also don't forget, census. I'm not sure what's going on. As they say in Jamaica, my mouth just a spring water. I don't know what's going on. I'm fine. I don't know. I guess different anger manifests itself in different ways. But anyway, yes, Michelle, children with autism definitely need to be socializing because they need that distraction. I know exactly what that talks about. Anyway, I'm going to end this live and share the video once you've done. But more importantly, get that conversation started, whether it's with your elected officials, with your family members, with your children. How do they feel? Do they want to go back to school? Yes, of course they want to go back to school. But do you see them practicing social distancing? 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, when they haven't seen their friends all summer? What do you think is going to happen? It's going to be all up. Things are going to be shared. And so the virus will spread. And I'm wondering if this is a plan to play into this, what we call about this herd mentality, where the plan is to just sit back and let everybody get the virus, and those who get through, and those who die, die. But, I mean, with, was it 20,000? I don't even know what the figures are right now because they're constantly changing. We don't need to lose anybody else to this disease, and it is preventable. It can be stopped. The spread can be stopped, but it's up to us. Michelle Arthurton is saying, read the book Unscaled. Michelle, you need to put the author, and yeah, if you can put the author, or maybe we can Google. The book is called Unscaled. I want to say good morning to Glennish Jamison. We're talking about the children returning to school and what's happening. Good morning. Herd immunity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Francine Chin, who's logged in. Good morning to you. I'm mad as hell, and I had to get this off my chest. Anyway, we always got to end with a lighter note, right? And so I'm going to end with this one. Have a blessed day, everybody. Stay safe and check in with your community. Stay blessed, everybody, and I am out of here. See you on Saturday morning from 11 a.m. to midday at the English Connection EnglishConnectionMedia.com, and Sundays between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. at e2onair.com. And Michelle Arthurton is saying, Unscaled speaks about how we will be operating businesses, schools, doctors, etc. in the future. And it's happening right now. Everything is virtual. Yes, everything is virtual. And if you notice, what happened, I said I was going to end, but you know what? What happened, remember a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, they were talking about there are no more coins. So people were being encouraged to use their debit cards. No! Push back. Let's keep paper money, coins in circulation. No, we're not going to a cashless society. What about those people who don't have bank accounts? No. We have to fight for those who cannot. Use your voice. Do not be mute. Do not sit back and watch things happening and think that it won't affect you, because guess what? It's already affecting you. It's already affecting you. You notice how all the prices in the supermarkets, food prices are going up and up and up. And whether it's price gouging, because I saw somebody selling Lysol this in the spray can for $17 for one can. It was still cheaper than the $20 that I paid for one. but then more fool me, right? So the book is Unscaled. Google it. Educate yourselves. If you don't want to read the book, form a book club. Let other people read the book and discuss it that way. Okay? There's ways that we have to educate ourselves. And guess what? With this pandemic, we certainly have one thing that we have been in short supply of. And that is a lot of time on our hands to think and look around you and see what is happening. So, exercise your vote. Participate in the census. And reach out to your elected officials right now. Elections are coming up in November. Tell them about your grievance and that you're disgruntled about what's happening with our children, because this is the future generation. And if they're dumbed down, what hope does humanity have? Peace.